My fiance's maid of honor pulled me aside at the rehearsal dinner. She's been texting her ex all week. I thought you should know. I thanked her calmly. Then I stood up, tapped my glass, and announced, the wedding is canceled. Asked the bride why. When 80 guests turned to her. Original post. 31 male. Cancel my wedding in front of 80 guests approximately 19 hours ago. My hand is still shaking as I type this. I haven't slept, but I need to get this out somewhere because my phone won't stop buzzing and I genuinely don't know if I did the right thing or if I just nuked my entire life. Some context. I've been with my fiancé for 4 years. Engaged for 14 months. The wedding was supposed to be tomorrow, well, today now, Saturday. We'd spent nearly $40,000 on this thing. Her parents contributed about 15, mine kicked in 8, and we covered the rest ourselves. Venue was booked, catering paid, photographer confirmed, honeymoon flights to Costa Rica non-refundable. The whole 9 yards. I thought we were solid. Like, genuinely solid. We had our issues like any couple. She could be dismissive sometimes, I could be too focused on work, but nothing that ever made me question us. She was my person, or so I thought. The rehearsal dinner was last night at this nice Italian place her parents picked out. About 35 people there, immediate family, wedding party, a few close friends. Everything was going fine. Toasts were happening. Her dad made some joke about finally getting rid of her. My mom cried. Normal stuff. Then her maid of honor pulled me aside. Now, her maid of honor and I have always had a weird dynamic. She's been my fiancé's best friend since college, and I always got the sense she didn't fully approve of me. Nothing overt, just vibes. So when she grabbed my elbow and said, "Can I talk to you for a second?" My first thought was, oh great, she's going to give me some lecture about treating her friend right. We stepped into the hallway near the restrooms. She looked nervous. Like actually nervous, not fake nervous. I need to tell you something, and I'm probably going to lose my best friend over this. But I can't let you walk into tomorrow without knowing. Me? Okay. She's been texting her ex. All week. I saw the messages when she left her phone unlocked at the bridal shower. They're not just friendly. They're planning something. Me? Planning what? Meeting up. After the wedding. He's flying in. She told him a marriage is just a stability thing, and that she still loves him. I just stood there. I remember the hallway had this ugly floral wallpaper, and I just stared at it while my brain tried to process what she was saying. Me? You're sure about this? I screenshot them. I wasn't going to say anything. I've been going back and forth all week, but I saw how you looked at her during the toasts, and I couldn't let you do this without knowing. She showed me her phone. For screenshots. The messages were bad. Really bad. My fiancé calling me sweet but boring. Saying she needed financial security, but her ex was the one who actually gets her. Making plans to meet at some hotel the Monday after we got back from our honeymoon. The last message was her ex saying, "Can't wait to have you back," and her responding with a heart emoji. I read them twice, then a third time. Then I handed the phone back. Me, thank you for telling me. What are you going to do? Me, I don't know yet. I walked back into the dining room. Everyone was laughing at something. My fiancé was in the middle of telling some story, glass of wine in hand, looking beautiful in this blue dress she'd bought specifically for tonight. Looking at her felt like looking at a stranger. I sat back down, picked up my water, took a sip. My best man asked if I was okay. I said yeah, just needed some air. For about 10 minutes, I sat there running scenarios. Confront her privately after dinner. Wait until we got home. Pull her aside right now. Call off the wedding quietly in the morning and deal with the fallout. Talk to her, give her a chance to explain. But here's the thing, there was no explanation that would make those messages okay. Stability thing. Sweet but boring. Planning to meet her ex days after our honeymoon. This wasn't a moment of weakness. This was a plan. She had been planning to marry me and then continue her relationship with someone else. I thought about the $40,000, the guests who traveled, the deposits we'd lose, my parents' contribution, her parents' contribution, the embarrassment, the questions, the fallout. Then I thought about standing at that altar tomorrow, saying vows to someone who had already decided I was just a safety net, who had already scheduled her affair. I stood up, picked up my knife, tapped it against my glass. The room went quiet. Everyone looked at me. My fiancée smiled, probably expecting some sweet toast about how lucky I was. Me. I appreciate everyone being here tonight. This was supposed to be a celebration of tomorrow. But I have an announcement. The wedding is canceled. Dead silence. Like actual dead silence. I could hear the kitchen noise from the back. Me. If you want to know why, ask the bride. I put down my glass, walked over to my fiancée, looked her directly in the eyes, and said quietly, so only she could hear, I saw the texts. All of them. We're done. Then I walked out. Behind me, I heard her say, what? What? And then the chaos started. Her mom shrieking. Her dad demanding to know what was going on. My mom calling my name. But I just kept walking. Got in my car. Drove home. Sat in the parking lot of my apartment for 20 minutes before I could make myself go inside. My phone exploded within minutes. Her calling over and over. Her mom. Her sister. My mom. My best man. I turned it off. Around midnight, she showed up at my apartment. Banging on the door. Crying. Yelling. Let me explain. It wasn't what it looked like. You're overreacting. I didn't open the door. Eventually, my neighbor threatened to call the cops, and she left. I turned my phone back on this morning. 32 missed calls. 61 text messages. I haven't read most of them. The few I did read range from apologetic to furious to threatening. Her dad sent me a text calling me a coward for humiliating his daughter in public instead of handling it like a man. Her sister said I was psychotic and clearly unstable, and that I'd regret this forever. My mom is devastated, but trying to be supportive. My dad told me I did the right thing. My best man said he's got my back, but also asked if I was sure about what I saw. I'm sure. Those messages were real. That hotel reservation was real. Her calling me a stability thing was real. But sitting here in my apartment, knowing that right now I was supposed to be getting ready for my wedding, knowing that 80 people saw me blow up my entire life in public, I don't feel victorious. I just feel empty. I'll update when I figure out what's next. Right now, I need to figure out how much of that $40,000 I can recover and how to tell my extended family that the wedding they flew in for isn't happening. Update 1, 2 days later. I need to get some stuff off my chest because this situation has somehow gotten worse, and I genuinely didn't think that was possible. First, let me address some questions from the comments on my original post. Yes, I have the screenshots. Her maid of honor sent them to me that night after everything went down. Yes, they're real. I can see the contact name, the timestamps, the message thread. No, I haven't confronted my ex directly about them yet because, frankly, I don't owe her a conversation. Now, the fallout. Saturday, what should have been my wedding day, was surreal. I woke up at 6 a.m. out of habit because that's when I was supposed to start getting ready. Just laid there staring at the ceiling for an hour. My best man came over around 10 with coffee and breakfast sandwiches. We didn't talk much. Just sat there. At 3 p.m., the exact time I would have been standing at the altar, he poured us both whiskey and we watched a baseball game on mute. Meanwhile, my ex was apparently doing damage control. Her version of events, which I've now heard from multiple sources, is that I had a mental breakdown at the rehearsal dinner and fabricated accusations because I have commitment issues. She's telling people she has no idea what I was talking about and that I refuse to communicate with her. Her mother called my mother 3 times, screaming about how I destroyed their family and demanding my parents make me apologize. My mom, bless her, told her that if anyone needed to apologize, it wasn't me. Her mom called her a terrible mother who raised an emotionally stunted man-child. My mom hung up on her. Sunday, I finally started dealing with the practical stuff. The venue had a 72-hour cancellation policy, which we obviously missed, so that $12,000 is gone. The catering company agreed to a partial refund. We got back about $2,000 out of 6. Photographer was actually cool about it and refunded everything except the deposit. DJ, same thing. Flores told me to go to hell, which fair, I guess. The Costa Rica flights are officially non-refundable. Total losses so far, roughly $28,000. Here's where things get interesting. Sunday evening, I got a text from my ex's dad. Not angry this time. He wanted to meet man to man and discuss the situation like adults. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet him at a coffee shop Monday morning. The meeting was something else. He showed up in a suit like he was going to a business negotiation, ordered a black coffee, sat down across from me with this look that I think was supposed to be intimidating. Her dad, I'm going to give you one chance to fix this. Me? Fix what exactly? Her dad, this mess you created. My daughter is devastated. Our family has been humiliated. You owe us. Me? I owe you. Her dad, you made accusations in front of 80 people. If you can't prove them, that's defamation. We could sue you. I actually laughed. Couldn't help it. Me? Sue me for telling the truth? Good luck with that. Her dad, what truth? My daughter says you fabricated the whole thing. Me? Your daughter was planning to meet her ex at a hotel 3 days after our honeymoon. I have screenshots of her calling me a stability thing. Would you like to see them? His face did something complicated. I don't think he knew the specifics until that moment. Her dad, those could be faked. Me, they're not. And you know what? Even if they were, which they aren't, the fact that your first instinct is to threaten to sue me instead of maybe asking if your daughter actually did something wrong tells me everything I need to know about where she learned her values. He didn't have a response to that. Just sat there gripping his coffee cup. Her dad, we want half the deposit money back. $15,000. The contributions we made. Me, I'll think about it. Her dad, you'll think about it? Me, yeah. I'll think about whether I want to repay the people whose daughter was planning to make me a fool, or whether I want to use that money to rebuild my life after she tried to destroy it. I'll think about it. I left him sitting there. Petty? Maybe. Satisfying? Absolutely. Monday afternoon, my ex finally reached me. Not by phone. She actually showed up at my office. Just appeared in the lobby and told the receptionist she was my fiancée and needed to see me urgently. My co-worker came to get me looking extremely uncomfortable. I went down to the lobby. She was standing there in a sundress, eyes red, clutching her purse like a lifeline. Her, can we please talk? Just 5 minutes. Me, we can talk here. Her, not in private? Me, no. Here's fine. She looked around. A few people were watching. My receptionist was definitely listening. Her, I made a mistake. A huge mistake. But you didn't have to humiliate me like that. In front of everyone. My grandmother was there. She's 83 years old, and she watched you call me a cheater in front of the whole family. Me, I didn't call you anything. I said the wedding was canceled and told people to ask you why. Her, that's the same thing. Me, no, it's really not. You had every opportunity to come clean, to tell them whatever version you wanted. I just opened the door. Her, I wasn't cheating. Nothing happened with him. Me, you were planning to meet him at a hotel after our honeymoon. You called me boring. You said our marriage was for stability. Those are your words. Her, that was just venting. Everyone vents to their exes about their partners sometimes. The receptionist's eyebrows went up. I saw it. My ex saw it too and realized how that sounded. Me, no. They don't. And the fact that you think that's normal tells me I made the right call. Her, you're throwing away 4 years over some text messages. Me, no. You threw away 4 years when you decided I was good enough to marry, but not good enough to be faithful to. I'm just the one who caught it. She started crying harder. Part of me, a small part, felt bad. For years is a long time. I did love her, but then I remembered the messages. Sweet but boring. Stability thing. And the feeling passed. Me, I think you should leave. Her, so that's it? You're not even going to try to work through this. Me, work through what? You planning an affair? There's nothing to work through. You made your choice. Now I'm making mine. She left, made a big show of it, crying loudly, saying, I can't believe this is happening to no one in particular. The lobby was very quiet after she was gone. 2 more things happened Monday that I need to mention. First, I got a text from her ex. The guy. I don't know how he got my number, but he did. The message said, Hey man, I heard what happened. Just want you to know, nothing actually happened between us. She was the one pursuing me. I feel bad about all this. I didn't respond. Don't care if it's true. Doesn't change anything. Second, her maid of honor texted me. Asked if I was okay. Said she'd been dropped from the friend group and that my ex told everyone she was a jealous snake who made everything up. I thanked her for having the guts to tell me the truth. She said she hoped I found someone who deserved me. The wedding guests have apparently divided into camps. Half think I was justified. Half think I was cruel. A few of my ex's relatives have sent me messages saying I traumatized their family. One of my cousins told me I was a legend. I don't feel like either. My ex is staying at her parents' house. The apartment we were going to live in together after the wedding, the one we'd already signed a lease on, is now a problem I need to figure out. My name is on it. So is hers. The lease starts next month. I'll update when the financial and living situation gets sorted. Right now I'm running on coffee and spite. Update 2, 8 days later. Things have escalated in ways I really wasn't prepared for. So let me break down what's happened since my last post. The apartment situation got ugly fast. As I mentioned, we'd signed a lease together for a new place, a 2-bedroom we were supposed to move into the week after our honeymoon. Both our names on it. 12-month lease. $2,400 a month. My ex's position. She shouldn't have to lose the apartment because I overreacted and sabotaged the relationship. She wanted me to take my name off the lease and let her have it. When I pointed out she couldn't afford $2,400 a month on her salary, she said her parents would help her. Sure, the same parents who were threatening to sue me for defamation. Makes sense. I talked to the property management company, explained the situation without details, just said the engagement ended and we need to break the lease before move-in. They were surprisingly understanding. Said we could break the lease early with a penalty of 2 months' rent, which would be split between us. So $2,400 each. I agreed. My ex refused. Her response, through her sister because she apparently won't text me directly anymore. Why should she have to pay for your decision to cancel the wedding? I'm not even going to dignify that with analysis. You can see the logic yourselves. So now I'm potentially on the hook for the full penalty if she doesn't pay, and she knows it. Her dad's probably told her to wait me out, make it hurt financially. Which brings me to the bigger financial mess. Her parents officially demanded repayment of their $15,000 contribution to the wedding. They had their lawyer send me a letter. An actual letter from an actual lawyer. The letter claimed I had breached an implied agreement by canceling the wedding and that I owed them restitution for their financial losses and emotional damages. I showed it to a lawyer friend. He laughed for about 30 seconds and then said, "This is adorable. They have no case." Apparently, wedding contributions are considered gifts, not contracts, and you can't sue someone for not going through with a wedding. Who knew? Well, lawyers knew. Her parents' lawyer probably knows too, and is just billing them for the threatening letter. I didn't respond to the letter. Let them waste money on legal fees for a case that doesn't exist. But here's where things took a turn I genuinely didn't expect. Last Thursday, I got a call from my boss. He asked me to come into his office, close the door, sat me down, asked if everything was okay in my personal life. Apparently, someone had sent an anonymous email to our company's HR department claiming I had exhibited abusive and controlling behavior toward my ex and that I was potentially dangerous. The email included details about the rehearsal dinner incident, framed in a way that made me sound unstable, public outbursts, humiliation tactics, vindictive behavior. My boss said HR was required to follow up on any claims of potential workplace safety issues, but that he personally didn't believe a word of it. He'd worked with me for 5 years. He knew who I was, but he wanted to give me a heads up that someone was apparently trying to cause problems. I have no proof it was my ex or her family. But come on, the timing, the specific details, the framing. I sent a very calm, very professional response to HR explaining the situation. That my engagement had ended due to discovering infidelity, that the incident at the rehearsal dinner was me canceling a wedding, and that I had documentation proving the infidelity if needed. I offered to meet with them in person. They thanked me for my response and said they would keep the matter on file, but were taking no further action. But the fact that someone tried to get me in trouble at work, that's a new level. Friday, I decided I was done being passive. If they wanted to play hardball, I could play hardball too. I sat down and made a list of everything I was owed or could document. The lease penalty. If she refused to pay her half, I'd pay the full amount and then take her to small claims court for her portion plus filing fees. It's only $2,400, but it's the principal. The wedding costs. I calculated every dollar I personally contributed Not my parents' money, just mine. It came to about $12,000. I had receipts for all of it. Some of those costs were for things she specifically wanted: the expensive florist, the upgraded catering package, the custom invitations. I started preparing a small claims court filing for half of the shared costs she'd agreed to split, but never actually pay me back for. The anonymous HR email. I asked HR to provide me with a copy of the original email for my records. They did. The email was sent from a burner Gmail account, but some of the phrasing was familiar. Very familiar. Phrases my ex had used in our arguments before. Her writing style. I saved it all. Saturday, I drafted a letter. Not to my ex, to her parents. I laid out everything. The screenshots of the texts. The fact that their daughter was planning an affair. The hotel reservation. The stability thing comments. I included a timeline showing that the maid of honor came to me with this information, not the other way around. I attached the HR email and noted that I was considering my legal options regarding defamation and harassment. I ended the letter with this: your daughter made choices. I made mine in response. If your family continues to harass me, contact my employer, or pursue frivolous legal action, I'll be forced to share the full documentation of your daughter's behavior with anyone who asks. I have been respectful of her privacy so far. That can change. I suggest we all move on with our lives. I sent it certified mail, so I'd have proof they received it. The response came Tuesday. Not from her parents, from her. She texted me for the first time in days. My parents showed me your letter. You're threatening to release my private messages. Me. I'm saying if your family keeps trying to destroy my reputation and my career, I'll defend myself with the truth. Those messages were private. You have no right to share them. Me. They stopped being private when you made them about me. And your maid of honor had every right to warn me about the woman I was about to marry. She stole those screenshots from my phone. Me. She saved them because she cared about me more than you did. Maybe think about that. You're being so cruel. I made a mistake. One mistake. And you're trying to ruin my life over it. Me. I'm trying to move on with my life. Your family is the one who keeps dragging this out. Tell them to back off, and I'll do the same. She didn't respond. But you know what happened? The lawyer letter stopped. The HR email stopped. Her dad stopped texting me. Her sister went quiet. Apparently, I'll tell people the truth about why the wedding was canceled was enough of a deterrent. Funny how that works. They were banking on me being too embarrassed to talk about it. They forgot that I'm not the one who should be embarrassed here. Wednesday, I got a text from my ex's maid of honor. She'd heard through the grapevine that my ex had been telling people the maid of honor fabricated the screenshots to steal me for herself. Just absolutely unhinged. The maid of honor said she was considering posting 4/5 the real story on social media to clear her name, but she wasn't sure if she should. I told her to do whatever she needed to do for herself. I wasn't going to tell her how to handle her own reputation. She posted Thursday a long, detailed explanation of what happened, without sharing the actual screenshots, just describing what they said. She explained that she came to me because she couldn't watch a good person get married to someone who was planning to betray them. She didn't name my ex directly, but anyone who knew the situation would know who she was talking about. The post got a lot of attention in their mutual friend circle. I heard from 3 different people that my ex was losing it over the response. Apparently, a lot of people believed the maid of honor. She'd been friends with my ex for 8 years, and everyone knew she wasn't the type to make things up. My ex's response to this? She blocked the maid of honor on everything. Then she posted her own vague story about toxic friendships and people who betray your trust. The irony was apparently lost on her. Here's where we are now. The lease situation is being resolved. My ex finally agreed to pay her half of the penalty after her parents, probably, told her they weren't going to fund her stubbornness anymore. We're officially off the lease as of next week. I'm staying in my current apartment. The wedding costs are still a mess, but I've accepted that I'm not getting most of that money back. I'm filing in small claims for the specific costs she agreed to split, but I'm not expecting much. Call it expensive tuition for a lesson I needed to learn. My ex has apparently started dating someone new. Her sister let it slip in a group chat that still includes one of my cousins. Less than 2 weeks after our wedding was supposed to happen. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Definitely the behavior of someone who is totally committed to our relationship. One more update coming. Still some loose ends to tie up. I want to give this story a proper ending. Update 3. Final. 19 days later. This is my last update. I want to close this chapter properly and then stop thinking about it. So here's everything that's happened since my last post. First, the practical stuff. Small claims court. I filed for $3,800, her half of shared wedding costs she'd agreed to split, but never paid, plus the interest I'd accrued paying it on my credit card while waiting for her to reimburse me. She didn't show up to the hearing. Just didn't appear. The judge granted a default judgment in my favor. Now I have a court order saying she owes me $3,800 plus fees. Will I ever actually see that money? Probably not. Collecting on small claims judgments is notoriously difficult. But the judgment is on her record now. If she ever tries to buy a house or a car and they run a credit check, it'll show up. A small victory, but I'll take it. The lease penalty, paid in full by both of us. We had to coordinate through the property management company because neither of us would speak directly to each other. Whatever. It's done. The wedding expenses I'll never recover. Approximately $22,000 when you factor in everything. I made peace with it. My parents have been incredibly supportive. They told me not to worry about paying back their contribution because getting out before the wedding was the best money we ever spent. I cried when my dad said that. First time I'd really let myself feel it. Now, for the human stuff. My ex's maid of honor, I'll call her the whistleblower from now on, has become an unexpected friend through all this. We've grabbed coffee a few times. Not romantic before anyone asks. She's dealing with her own fallout from all this. Lost most of her friend group because they chose my ex's side. Her roommate, who was also in the bridal party, moved out because things were too awkward. She's rebuilding her social life from scratch at 29. We bonded over being the villains in someone else's story. She told me she doesn't regret saying anything, but she also didn't expect it to cost her this much. I told her I was sorry she got caught in the blast radius. She said she'd rather have a clear conscience than friends who expect her to cover up affairs. My ex has apparently leaned hard into the victim narrative. According to mutual acquaintances, I've stopped actively seeking updates. But people keep telling me things. She's been telling everyone that I was controlling and emotionally unavailable, and that the texts to her ex were just a cry for help because I wasn't meeting her emotional needs. The cheating planning has been reframed as emotional venting that got taken out of context. Some people believe her. The ones who don't know me, mostly. Her family has closed ranks. Her sisters send me a hostile text, maybe once every 2 weeks. Things like, you destroyed her, and she can't eat, can't sleep, I hope you're happy. I've stopped reading them. Just swipe away the notification. Her ex, the guy she was texting, apparently ghosted her completely after everything went public. The whistleblower told me this. He wanted no part of the drama and blocked my ex everywhere. So her backup plan evaporated too. I don't know how to feel about that. Part of me thinks it's karma. Part of me thinks it's just sad. 3 weeks ago, my ex showed up at my apartment one last time. This was the conversation that gave me closure. It was around 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. Knock on my door. I checked the peephole, saw it was her, almost didn't answer. But something made me open it. She looked rough, thinner than I remembered, tired. She was holding a small box. Her, I'm not here to fight. I just wanted to return some of your stuff I found at my parents' house. I took the box. Some books. A charger. A t-shirt I'd forgotten about. Me, thanks. Her, can I say something? And then I'll leave. I promise. I didn't invite her in, just stood in the doorway. Her, I'm not going to apologize for the text because I know you won't believe me anyway. But I want you to know that I did love you. Maybe not the right way, but I did. Me, that's supposed to make me feel better? Her, no. I don't know. I just didn't want you to think the whole 4 years was fake. It wasn't. Me, the 4 years don't matter if the ending was a lie. You were going to marry me knowing you had someone else waiting. You call me boring. You call me a stability thing. Those were your real thoughts about me. Her, those are my worst thoughts. Everyone has worst thoughts about their partners sometimes. Me, not everyone acts on them. She didn't have a response to that. We stood there in silence for a moment. Her, I guess I just wanted to see you one more time. To say goodbye properly. Not like how it ended at the rehearsal. Me, that's not how goodbyes work. You don't get to choose how they happen after you're the one who made them necessary. Her, I know. Me, I hope you figure your stuff out. I genuinely do. But I can't be part of it. Her, I know. Me, goodbye. Her, goodbye. I closed the door, listened to her footsteps walk away. And that was it. That was our ending. Not with screaming, not with drama, just with two people who used to mean everything to each other saying words through a doorway. I sat on my couch for a long time after that. Didn't cry. Just sat. Here's where I am now. I'm still in my job. My reputation, there survived whatever damage that anonymous HR email tried to do. My boss actually gave me a small raise last week, said it was overdue. I think he felt bad about the whole situation. I'm still in my same apartment. Didn't move. Kind of glad now. I like my neighbors. I know the area. There's comfort in familiarity when everything else has changed. My social life is rebuilding. Lost a few friends to the divorce of friend groups that happens after breakups. Gained the whistleblower. My best man has been solid. My family has been solid. It's enough. I started seeing a therapist. Not because I'm falling apart, but because I figured I probably had some stuff to process. She's helping me understand why I ignored red flags for so long, why I was so invested in making things work with someone who was already checked out. Turns out I have some patterns around not wanting to be difficult that probably need examining. Work in progress. I'm not dating yet. Not ready. Probably won't be for a while. But I'm also not closed off to it. Just taking my time. A few final thoughts before I close this out. 1. I don't regret how I handled the rehearsal dinner. Some people think it was cruel, that I should have pulled her aside privately. But here's the thing. She was planning to let me marry her under false pretenses in front of all those same people. She was going to let me say vows I meant to someone who didn't mean hers. Public humiliation. She was planning a much slower, more devastating version of that for me. I just sped up the timeline. 2. The money hurts, but it's just money. $22,000 is a lot. It's also less than the divorce would have cost me after years of marriage to someone who was never really committed. I got out cheap, all things considered. 3. I feel bad for the whistleblower. She lost more than I did in some ways. Her entire social circle, her housing situation, her reputation with people who chose to believe my ex's version. She did the right thing and got punished for it. That's not how it's supposed to work. But she says she sleeps better now than she has in months. Maybe that's worth something. For I don't hate my ex. I thought I would. Expected to. But mostly I just feel distant from her. Like she's someone I used to know, not someone who almost became my wife. The love is gone, but so is most of the anger. What's left is just a kind of sad clarity about who she really was versus who I thought she was. 5. If you're reading this and you have a gut feeling something is wrong in your relationship, trust it. I ignored mine for months. Little things that didn't add up. The way she got defensive about her phone. The comments about our future that felt more obligatory than excited. I explained it all away because I wanted to believe we were solid. We weren't. Trust your gut. That's the whole story. Maybe not the dramatic conclusion some of you wanted. No big public revenge, no viral moment, no clean victory. Just a guy who found out the truth, made a choice, dealt with the consequences, and is slowly putting his life back together. Thanks for following along. It helped, more than I expected, to write this all out and have strangers validate that I wasn't crazy. I'm going to go order a pizza and watch something mindless. First normal evening I've had in a while. Take care of yourselves. And never ignore the warnings, especially when they come from someone who has nothing to gain by telling you. Peace.